Hey guys, VHS82 apostrophe. A few thoughts right off the bat. With regards to zombies Halloween entries. Right off the bat. I don't want to get long-winded, but with regards to all the hate that these films bring, I think there is a willful desire to just plainly want to ignore some important things. Like Rob Zombie's whole vision for what he wanted to see uncompromised on film was exactly that. Or should I say not that, it was compromised when his initial pitch with Weinstein's was denied. His whole thought of just creating one film, cutting it smack dab in the middle, get an entire film of young Michael and an entire film more or less devoted to Carpenter's vision. But the first piece, Rob Zombie's, here's what I have to offer. Take it or leave it. Oh, and by the way, if you love Carpenter, you've got this piece too. But in effect, with the entry of H2, what we really have here is the third piece of a vision compromised but already done in the form of the first Halloween remake. And if you watch that film, it's almost impossible to walk away not realizing that, wait a minute, there are two different movies here, crunched into one. That was not his desire. Okay, that was forced upon him. And with regards to H2, he had roughly, from the minute that project landed into his hands and he moved, he had 6 months between creation on screen. I don't know who on this planet can do this in 6 months and at least get something that's even remotely half decent. But anyways, that's my little rant.
BodyBags were horror lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia, VHS82 apostrophe, and of course, you already know, we're talking Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, 2009, and maybe one of the most hated films out there. But there's a reason why I picked H2. It fits nicely right between Fulci's Beyond and Argento's Inferno. Not that I'm putting Rob Zombie anywhere near the level of those two directors, but the films have something uniquely in common. They are films that are predicated on being films of images, and images that outweigh the mere mechanics of plot. Okay, plot sort of takes a second seat here to the strong impressions that are put upon screen, and they're not designed to make us sit there and reflect and think. We're just really, I guess, supposed to be put into a state of awe, or I can't believe I'm looking at this, or watching this. So those three films I think fit very nicely, and really my attempt here is to maybe change some minds and hearts about how we view this film in particular. So let's just start real quick here. This is, of course, a Rob Zombie film written and directed by him. Wayne Toth, of course, does the special effects, makeup, music. Of course, Tyler Bates is back on. Scott Taylor-Compton, of course, the cast. Tyler Mane and Malcom McDowell and Brad Douriff, who is just a heavyweight in this film. Caroline Williams, of course, Stretch from TCM2, Margot Kidder, and on and on and on. And oh, I forgot Danielle Harris, of course. And there are others. Quite a remarkable cast. But this film, well, the plot. There is a plot. The film, leaps off of really literally right after the original, Zombie's original film / remake, with finding Laurie just wandering on the streets of Haddonfield. and subsequently she's taken to the hospital. But once we're in the hospital, we've already moved out of reality stage into nightmare state. You know what? I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm not gonna deliberately try to spoil or anything, but this movie's been out for so long now. I'm really concerned with how people view this film, or maybe want to give this film a second chance. So right off the beginning, once we've moved off the street and we moved into the hospital, of course, you're being taken to where Michael's been taken. He's being put into the back of the ambulance. You get all these images right off the bat, and once you're into the hospital scene, the images are very, very strong in terms of the aftermath. This film is about aftermath, and too often, a lot of the criticism that's leveled at it is, well, I hate what they did with Laurie Strode, and I hate what they did with Dr. Loomis, and all these characters. And I think we forget that this film, Rob Zombie said something interesting on the director commentary. He said, the moment when Laurie is straddling Michael and she shoots him in the head, and she just goes into what I think is one of the greatest scream moments maybe ever on film. Go ahead, argue with me all you want. I think it's one of the greatest moments, because if you're invested in the film, you're invested in her. How does your heart not just ache for her as a character at that point? And Rob says at that point, that's when she becomes an interesting character for him to continue to develop and work out. And initially, he wasn't even going to get that chance because he had already gotten his deal. He got both movies he wanted to make, unfortunately crammed into one piece when they should have been broken into two separate pieces, which we could have got more of each flushed out. But the Weinsteins being the Weinsteins, well, studio being studio, we didn't get that. And so when he's asked ultimately to come on board for, in effect, it's a sequel, in terms of his conceptual vision, his idea, he's already done it. So really H2 is part 3. It's the third act in what is already a 2-act play. So, we gotta look at it from that angle. We gotta look at it from maybe a more Fulcian point of view, or maybe an Argento point of view, in terms of a film of images. And it's a world of, these characters are crumbling right before our eyes. And how can they not, because of what they've been through? And this is Zombie's whole take. Say what you will about the White Horse and everything else, it does serve a purpose. So it's the bridge between Michael and Laurie psychologically, the connection that they have. And I heard somebody once say, I don't get it. Why do we have to see Michael eat a dog? Well, let's not forget the original John Carpenter film. He not only ate a dog, now we might not have seen him eat it, but we saw the dog in the corner of the house. He also killed a dog on screen. So I'm not sure why people are so shocked about that. But this film is a film predicated on images, and some very, very strong images. Maybe some of the strongest images of any Halloween film ever. I mean, some of the scenes in the hospital, in the alternative cut, especially in the hospital, the pit of bodies, Laurie in a coffin, a glass coffin. These things are images that carry some serious stuff here to think about, maybe not while receiving it, but maybe after the fact, later on. Even in the hospital scene, when we ultimately find out this is nothing more than a nightmare, I think the problem with that scene is it should have been played off more as a nightmare and not something that perhaps, whether directly or indirectly, was designed to throw us. I don't think we should have been thrown at all. I think we should have been somehow alluded to that this is a nightmare that is suddenly bursted out in front of us or upon us, right? And one of the things in there is the guy who comes to her aid in her nightmare is the same name as her teddy bear when she wakes up. So, I mean, there's all these interconnections, and the things that go on with the psychologist and what's just everything going on in her. I mean, I just say this too. I know it just seems like I'm really rambling here, but man, I got a lot of passion for this film, and for all the criticism that gets leveled at it, because I'm the kind of person that I love films predicated on images first. Okay, set the mechanics of plot off to the side. Let me just see something visual. Let me just see something that will make me think after the fact and maybe a few days, a few weeks down the road, if not longer, let me think about this stuff. And Zombie he does that with this film. I mean, it's not his fault that it's something splendidly different than what maybe we were wanting. I mean, look what happened with 2018 Halloween. This was supposed to be, here, we're going to give you back to the fans what you want. I don't know if I've ever seen a film so split down the middle between those people who hated it and those people who, I guess, loved it. And here we have, at least in Zombie's first film and his follow-up, which in effect is a 3-act play if you consider his original intent, you have something here that really could have been leapt off upon into something else. And unfortunately, with 2018 film, Zombie's world, I mean, it's done, it's over with. So in terms of the one alternative cut, they're all dead, it's whatever. I mean, Brad Dourif's character, Sheriff Brackett, which I think, man, I'm telling you, I love his work on that. But so it's just how we gotta take it. I'm a big fan of this movie. This movie just continues to grow on me. I have my favorite moments in the film. The moment out in the field when they come across him, and he has his great moment when he puts the mask on, and a lot of this is filmed in Georgia too, which is pretty cool, near Cummington, Georgia. And I've never been at that town, but one of these days I'm going to drive down there. So this is, of course, this is my German release. I really just got it because of the artwork. I thought it was one of the better artworks out there, and I'm a fan for that, a sucker for that, whatever. But yeah, so tucked right between The Beyond and Inferno, and it's a film again that just needs to be seen a certain way. And so hopefully I've said something that will cause you to take a relook at it and look at it a little differently. Anyhow, I can't think of what else to say, but I love this one. Rating, it keeps growing on me. I think this film is a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's an 8.5 out of 10 for me, and it continues to grow on me. I don't know if the rating will go, but yeah. So we'll leave it at that. Rob Zombie's H2O9. Some great music, some great effects, great visuals. The cinematography is really, really good. And it really does a good job of just wrapping really anything and everything that could possibly wrapped up. You may not like how it's done, but it is what it is. It's his vision, to the best that he was able to display that vision on screen. So what it's worth, it's his. And in the end, hey, I'll take it. I enjoy it. So with that, y'all have a nice night. Again, VHS82 apostrophe. And as always, go Bills.